Welcome. You're listening to the I'm Wired to Inspire podcast, creatively engineered by Nicole, the inspiration specialist. I'm Wired to Inspire is a powerfully packed 5-minute podcast filled with inspiration and encouragement to get you through your day. It's designed to inspire you to live your authentic purpose. Now stay tuned for your host, Nicole, the inspiration specialist, on today's episode of I'm Wired to Inspire.
It's Wired to Inspire Wednesdays with Nicole, the inspiration specialist.
During a research experiment, a marine biologist placed a shark into a large holding tank and then released several small bait fish into the tank. As you would expect, the shark quickly swam around the tank, attacked, and ate the smaller fish. The marine biologist then inserted a strong piece of clear fiberglass into the tank, creating 2 separate partitions. She then put the shark on one side of the fiberglass and a new set of bait fish on the other. Again, the shark quickly attacked. This time, however, the shark slammed into the fiberglass divider and bounced off. Undeterred, the shark kept repeating this behavior every few minutes, but to no avail. Meanwhile, the bait fish swam around unharmed in the second partition. Eventually, about an hour into the experiment, the shark gave up. This experiment was repeated several dozen times over the next few weeks. Each time, the shark got less aggressive and made fewer attempts to attack the bait fish, until eventually the shark got tired of hitting the fiberglass divider and simply stopped attacking altogether. The marine biologist then removed the fiberglass divider, but the shark didn't attack. The shark was trained to believe a barrier existed between it and the bait fish, so the bait fish swam wherever they wished, free from harm. Many of us, after experiencing setbacks and failures, emotionally give up and stop trying. Like the shark in the story, we believe that because we were unsuccessful in the past, we will always be unsuccessful. In other words, we continue to see a barrier in our heads, even when no real barrier exists between where we are and where we want to go. I just recently read that story from MARC and Angel HACKLIFE. And it really made me think about how many of us are actively operating like this daily. We really have no idea that we have already set ourselves up to fail because we feel that what happened before is going to happen to us again. And don't mess around and be in a situation where it's beginning and it's looking like it did before. You immediately shut down and you cut yourself out of your blessing. Okay? The name of this piece was called Shark Bait. But I call it Shark Fate, F-A-T-E, as opposed to B-A-I-T. And I say that because the fate of the shark was determined by the barrier that was placed in front of him. He had no idea that once it was moved, he can go back to doing what he had already been doing the whole time. But again, he had been reconditioned, to have a different thought process about it. So by this time, the barrier that he kept bumping into, even if he went that way and it wasn't there anymore, he just already had in his mind that he could not touch those fish anymore. So I want you to think about that. Is there anything in your life that you have created and you've caused a barrier to get from where you want to be and where you actually are? Give yourself time to think about what type of motivation you need. What do you need right now? What do you need to examine in your life that you know maybe nobody else might know? Maybe you and God might be the only people that know. What is it that you think you need to revisit and really get your mind around how you're approaching it, how you're looking at it? What's this thing going to be like if you change your mindset? I want you to really think about that. And I'm explaining this to you again. I want to say this part again, just so it's clear. It says, after experiencing setbacks and failures, many of us emotionally give up and stop trying. Have you stopped trying to do something that you know God put in your heart? The enemy can be causing delay because of a barrier that he put there that you've allowed. The enemy can only do stuff when you allow him to, because you have power and authority to tell him no, he can't. So what barriers has he set that you said, okay, I'm going to take it? Okay, it's fine. I'll just keep that barrier right there. Forget it. It's not even a barrier to me anymore. It just is what it is. Is that you? You can't let that be life any longer. You cannot let that be life any longer, because that's going to lead you to a place where you don't belong. This is about exactly what you have to do, what standard you have to set for you. So that became the shark's fate. What's going to become your fate? What is the thing that you need to do, that you need to get past, that maybe you were unsuccessful at in the past, that still haunts you? You still feel like it's something you need to do. You know what? You might do it now, and you actually might fail worse than you did the first time. But does that mean you can stop? Or should you stop? Because maybe you might try it after that, and that might be the time of all times, and the game changes. You never know. But the point is, do not let an emotional barrier, do not let something that you've created, and do not let other people's opinions could be a barrier for you too. Stop thinking about what it looks like and ask God to show you what it really is. Because you know what? You have to be encouraged. You can't let your heart be troubled, and you have to be inspired to live your authentic purpose. You cannot live your authentic purpose if you're swinging on somebody else's barrier, if you crashing into somebody else's idea of what they say and they think you should be. You don't have time for that. The only time you have is to figure out what you need to do to break every barrier, known and unknown, that could be stopping you from getting your best, from living the purpose that God has called you to live, from doing the thing that you are supposed to be doing in your life at this time. You have control over that. Now you just have to decide what you're going to do with it. And when you make the decision, just know this. When you commit to making sure that you are not your own barrier, and then that you are not allowing other people who do not matter in what you have going on, when you decide that they will no longer be a barrier, I promise you, everything is going to change. So thank you so much for listening today and joining me on my podcast. I'm Wired to Inspire. I hope you are too.
Thanks for listening to I'm Wired to Inspire podcast at I'mWiredToInspire.com. If you enjoyed the show, spread the word and be sure to hit the 5-star rating on iTunes. For more information on this podcast and inspirational products and services, log on to the inspirationspecialist.life or I'mWiredToInspire.com. And remember to live your authentic purpose. Thanks again, and see you next time.